Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Delivering Software the Way Your Customers Want It. My name is Mark Myers, and I lead our Global Business Development Strategy for our ISV Acceleration Initiative. We have a great session today, very focused on helping our ISV partners address their business opportunities to grow your business and meet your customer needs. I would like to note, at the end of this session, there will be a series of resources that will be specifically laid out to help you start this journey. But with that, let me jump straight in. And what I'd like to do is quickly introduce our panelists. From a panel perspective, we're very pleased to have two experts in the field joining me today. First, we have Ryan McNee. And Ryan is the practice lead for Logicalis. He is responsible for the strategy and the growth of the solution provider practice at Logicalis. And he's been driving the enablement of these strategies with ISVs, for over 10 years, has helped several startups and growth stage companies build ISV channel practices, and has had great success. You're going to see he's got a ton of passion around helping our ISV partners to leverage the technology that really helps to lead towards a profitable solutions business. We also have Kevin Dobbs joining us. Kevin is the founder and CEO for Montclare. Montclare is an advisory firm exclusively focused on building out profitable SaaS businesses, and their company really delivers a whole series of rich content and business services that really support an active community focused exclusively on SaaS. As we look at the agenda for today, there's really 4 components to the agenda. First, I'm going to share a little around Cisco's role and how we are working to create real value for our ISV partners. I will then hand the ball over to Kevin, who's going to share a lot of the experiences that he's seen in working with other ISVs in their journey to build a profitable SaaS business. What are the considerations, what are the challenges, and most specifically, what are some of the things that they've seen that would really help all of you, our partner ISVs, to build a profitable business. Then as we lean into Ryan's section, the real focus here is, Logicalis has done a lot of work with ISVs, learned a lot of lessons that really help the ISVs to migrate their business. And I think you're going to see a lot of value for you as you consider, what opportunities you would have and how this ecosystem partnership play can really help make a difference in your business. And then, we will lean into a question and answer period, also very focused on helping you to get started in this whole process through a series of resources. So the other highlight, before we go too deep, is really, I want to highlight that our Cisco Solution Partner Program has helped make this possible. And as we go through the presentation, you're going to see there's a whole series of very specific values that the Solution Partner Program brings to you, our ISV partners. And as we step through that, I think you're going to see, obvious opportunity for you to engage. But specifically also, I want to highlight that 2 attendees out of this webcast are also going to be receiving a complimentary 1-year membership into the Solution Partner Program, valued at $3,500 a piece. So we're excited about the partnership with the program, and we're excited that you could be here to join us. So as we think about ISVs and the SaaS drivers, clearly this audience is all ISVs, and you have some common needs and some common challenges. I'm going to start with the platform, which is really the foundation. Every ISV, as you're building out your practice, you've got the development and the operations side of the business. From a Cisco standpoint, we're very focused on, how can we help you from an acceleration of your time to market, get you engaged with the right people from an engineering perspective, bring the right resources to the table, and most importantly, help you partner with the right Cisco-powered partners that can help you both from an on-premise as well as co-location capability to build out your model and really support your developers in the business. As I go further into the presentation, you're going to see we also bring a series of values from our DevNet group that will also help train your people and get them better access to the tools and resources that can help them grow your business and create new opportunities for both wallet share expansion as well as market share. But as we look at the top line here, ISVs really are in a number of positions as far as your maturity into the market. And as we take a look at that, I want to highlight, based on where you are from your growth and introduction of software as a service, there's different ways that Cisco and our Cisco ecosystem can help. On the left, we talk specifically about the new ISVs. Those of you that have just started into the business, naturally you're going to gravitate straight to software as a service. And it's critical as we look at that, introduction to software as a service, you have the right services, right support models to help you with that. But also, many have started with other cloud, public cloud offerings. And it's important also to note that as you grow your business, we want to be in a position where we can help you with that enterprise class service level agreement and the ability to, help you, from an operational standpoint to save more money. In the center section, we highlight, there are many ISVs that haven't started the journey with SaaS. And that's where the importance of the relationship with the Cisco-powered providers and very specifically key resources like Montclare to help you think through what are the critical needs and what are the critical requirements that you should consider as you grow your business and take that foray in. But also the vast majority, and Kevin will talk about this specifically, the vast majority of you are in that hybrid stage. You've got a successful business on-premise delivering your software, but with the migration and the push from your end customers to migrate to an OpEx model away from that CapEx world, it's forcing change into the marketplace. And what we're focused on is how do we bring the right resources to help you consider, what are the opportunities and the best ways to make the migration. Now, people know Cisco, as a technology company, and very clearly, whether it's, working with you from a data center perspective, the introduction of cloud strategies, mobility, collaboration as a way to really differentiate your solutions, or most critically, from a security perspective, Cisco can help. But the big news for you here in this, growth of software as a service is there's a lot of other things that Cisco can do to assist you in the journey, starting with our partner ecosystem. Now, I've talked a little bit about our Cisco cloud providers, and what they can bring to the marketplace, but there's also a number of other resources from a reseller standpoint that can help with routes to market, learning partners that can help you to deliver and, help educate the rest of the marketplace in, what is the real value that you bring. But it's about leveraging that ecosystem to expand your feet on the street and expand the opportunities. The center section really talks about programs. ISVs are our partners in Cisco's viewpoint, and as such, we've created a world-class program, the Solution Partner Program, that is specifically focused on how can we help you come into the marketplace and drive more value, more opportunity. The Solution Partner Program has go-to-market resources. We have a marketplace that can help you to really get your solution out into the marketplace so more people understand what you bring to the table and how it can create value. And they also have specific programs like the Solution Incentive Program that help that ecosystem on the left to resell your opportunities and may actually make a higher margin doing it. So we've created new ways to help you with that expansion of feet on the street and create a model that our resellers in the marketplace, 60,000 strong, you have an incentive to work with you and stay close. On the right side, this is an area where I'm particularly excited because we've created the DevNet program, and the whole focus is on your lifeblood of your company, your developers. How do we help them, with reference architectures? How do we provide, virtual sandboxes for them to, test the applications? How do we do hackathons to get them more focused around the APIs and the SDKs that will really create value in your environment to, again, focus on wallet share and market share to expand your business. And then there's a whole series of marketing foundational tools to help you to drive that. Now, this next slide I share for you to think about, as you look at these many resources, which are the ones that you could really leverage to help you build your business. And, as we look at this, the feedback I've gotten, multiple times is that it's not just any one of these, it's multiples. And Cisco is here to help you with the programs, with the support models, and with the relationships that we can help introduce to help you drive this into the marketplace. The world is changing, though. right? And the fact is that there's a new model and really a next generation of information technology. As we look at the new breeds of applications, the new consumption models that force, the behavior and changing over to software as a service, as an example, the new types of, broad source information around analytics and leveraging the Internet of Things, this new model is creating a new challenge, for many in the marketplace. And what we're seeing from Cisco and Cisco's partner community is that the way to address this is through the architectural approach. So whether it's helping you from an infrastructure standpoint, infrastructure as a service, IT as a service, leveraging the collaboration to really differentiate your solutions, application-centric really focuses on how do you really leverage the network as a platform, make your applications run better and differentiate yourself in the market. And as always, security is the key, and that's the thing that Cisco is most proud of, as we help you to grow your business. But with that said, what I'd really like to focus back on, this session is specifically around delivering your software the way your customers want it. And there's many advantages that many ISVs like you have received, as they've built out their software as a service options, on a Cisco and a Cisco partner ecosystem. And, one example, gaming ISV, they had actually originally built out on a public cloud. As they migrated over to a Cisco infrastructure, 4.5-month break even. And, many times people think that the quickest way to get into this is jump on that public cloud, but there's many other considerations, that help you from an operational perspective to really deliver better and deliver more appropriately. Insurance ISV, in this particular case, as they migrated away from that public cloud, they were actually improving their cost structure by 50% in moving over to the Cisco UCS platform. And that's based on the operational capabilities, and it's based on how they were specifically able to roll out their applications. We've got ISVs serving the small and medium business, and again, the whole focus is how do they deliver their products more effectively, quicker, and provide more capabilities. And, business management, again, what used to take 10 days, they can now do in hours. But specifically, as we look at this, the key in this discussion, Logicalis has a ton of experience in helping ISVs, make this migration over to SaaS. And as we take a look at their customers, their ISVs, they're actually helping these guys build out new strategies, SaaS business models that are helping people become market leaders. They've got ERP examples where, they're improving the service delivery 75% over the previous infrastructure. These are exciting things. These are opportunities that you can leverage in your go-to-market as well. But it's not all about the technology, and it's not all about the programs. There's a lot of considerations as we take a look at, the marketplace. So with that, let me pass the ball. And what I'd like to do is bring in Kevin. And Kevin Dobbs is, the CEO of Montclare. And Montclare has done a lot of work with ISVs. Kevin, there's a lot going on in the marketplace that this audience really needs to know about. Share with us what you're seeing and how it has an impact.
Thanks. Sorry about that. Thanks, Mark. No, that was really helpful. What we're going to do is talking about, what makes a successful and profitable SaaS business. And just to give you a little background on Montclare, if you're not familiar with our firm, we've been in business for a little over 6 years, and our 100% focus is on the SaaS market, and we work exclusively with software companies who are trying to either improve the existing SaaS business model that they have or begin to build a new SaaS business model. And we'll talk a little bit about some of our research that we've done about the market so you can see some of the trends, both from our anecdotal experience, but also from what we're actually seeing in the research that we're doing out in the marketplace. So we'll spend kind of a little bit of time on the business model, kind of walking you through that. Why is it different? One of the things that we get asked quite a bit is, isn't this just hosting? And the reality is service delivery is a key component in being successful with the model, but there's a lot of other areas of considerations you need to look at. Then we'll talk a little bit about the financial model. Why is that different? We'll walk you through a couple examples of things you need to consider as you're kind of building out your game plan for SaaS. And then I always like to round it out with, who's being successful and why are they being successful? Because again, as you're looking at this model, it's really helpful to have, maybe ideas of, we'd love to be like maybe Workday, or we'd love to be like Salesforce, or, there's a myriad of other companies who are being successful with the model. So we'll share some ideas around that with you as well. So the first thing is, in a very simplistic way, we've looked at over 1,000 companies in the global ecosystem, and they break down basically into these 4 buckets. It's really kind of traditional, which is on-premise software, hybrid, which we would say most people in the market today are doing some mix of both on-premise and SaaS-based solutions. Crossovers are companies who've decided strategically that they're going to stop selling software through licenses, and they're going to deliver everything as a service through a subscription. Good example of that recently is Adobe decided to take their entire product portfolio and only offer it as a subscription. And then companies who are SaaS. These are companies who've either made the transition and moved over to SaaS, and that's all they do, or it's many of the companies over the last 15 years have started with a clean sheet of paper and actually built pure SaaS businesses. So that's kind of the way we see the market falling out in terms of the different types of companies. So when I talk to our clients, who oftentimes are CEOs or C-level executives at software companies as they're thinking about building out their strategies, this chart is always a real helpful one because, again, we think service delivery is a critical component. Ryan's going to talk to you about, how Logicalis helps companies kind of get their solutions out into the market and help them kind of scale their businesses. But there are also a lot of other things like financial modeling. Very simple difference between a license, an on-premise model, and a SaaS model is, in an on-premise model, you own a perpetual license, meaning even if you don't pay the maintenance, you've got right to use the software in perpetuity, even if you never upgrade it. In a SaaS model, you've got a subscription service. If you don't pay your fees, your monthly fees or your quarterly fees, the service gets turned off, just kind of like your lights would get turned off if you didn't pay your bill. That's a very different way of doing business than kind of the old model. Another big piece, a big difference is, in the traditional model, you get all your money up front. When you sell a license, it's usually an upfront payment. With SaaS, you're getting paid either monthly, quarterly, or annually, but your contracts are being paid over time. So again, you've got to kind of rethink how your organization is going to basically have a different expense structure to kind of fit within those cash constraints. Business processes are different. Traditional companies usually use waterfall methodology to build their products in quarters or years. SaaS companies use agile development methodologies, which deliver products in quarters, months, weeks, and in some cases, daily builds of new releases of the product. So very kind of different rate and pace in what they're doing. Technology, again, Cisco and Mark can talk to you about, a variety of the latest technology that's come out that's so much more efficient, new cloud architectures and things that are making SaaS companies just easier to start and more effective. And then the last area is really culturally, I think companies are very different. Just to hit on a couple things. One, I think the sales culture of kind of the traditional software world has kind of shifted much more to a customer-centric world where, if you don't get your customers to renew their contracts, you're not going to be successful. So there's a whole myriad of these things, and again, we'll talk about some resources at the end of this webinar that just give you a lot more detail about the differences in the model. One really important component in this is, how do I sell? As we build out models for our clients, a lot of times it's helpful to think about, you know, what market you're going after, what products are you going to be selling, and then, you know, how are you going to be selling it. A big difference in the SaaS model is companies use much more of what we call a land and expand sales model. So keep in mind, you're not going to be able to sell the big ticket license like you were able to do before. What you'll have to do now is you'll probably sell something to get in, get successful, get them liking your solution, and start selling, come back and sell over and over and over again. So, you know, depending on what you do, you may have a very, as we call it, freemium-centric model where you start with a free solution and then you try and monetize through selling additional capacity or services. You might use like an SMB or small business model, and here's some examples of companies who've done that. Or you might just use a traditional enterprise kind of approach similar to what, you know, a Workday or a Salesforce or an SAP or Oracle is doing. So we're going to shift over, talk a little bit about the financial model. So one thing that this chart is really helpful in illustrating is companies change over time. As SaaS companies become more efficient and effective, what you're looking at is kind of a graphical representation of their profit and loss statements. So what we did is we worked with a company called OpEx Engine who profiles about 200 software companies every year. And we kind of took a market basket of SaaS companies and we just looked at them based on, you know, what their revenue range was. And what was interesting is you can see companies who'd roughly be described as startups. They don't usually have a repeatable sales model. Their product's still kind of in flux. They don't have, let's say, a customer success strategy of how to keep the customers engaged. So there's a lot kind of being worked out in the model. And what you can see subsequently is that they lose a lot of money. So typically, SaaS companies at a really early stage are not very profitable. But as you can see over time, what ends up happening is, you know, they start gaining momentum around, you know, the model that they're trying to get, their business processes, their products. You know, usually by the time they're about a $50 million company, they not only have a single product, but they've got a suite of products, and then they really kind of accelerate out. And so it's kind of, as they start accelerating out, that's when they start, you know, becoming profitable or have the possibility of becoming profitable. Another big component in thinking through the financial model, probably one of the most important things, which directly affects both Cisco and Logicalis and how they can help you, is your cost of goods sold. So as you're thinking about how do I take my software and deliver it as a service to my customers in a way that I can make money, you know, you've got to think about what is the best approach for you. Your organization may have a lot of expertise and want to do this in-house. Other software companies we deal with, they don't really have a lot of expertise in running a NOC or DevOps or any of the other things. So working with a partner like Logicalis makes a lot of sense because they're going to take care of a lot of this for you, and then you're just going to pay them a fee going forward, and it really kind of gets you into the market quickly and gets you farther down kind of the path to success. Another thing that we talk, again, to boards and to, you know, CEOs and their teams about is kind of the value of these companies. You know, I would throw out there for your consideration, most of the companies who've been jumping into the SaaS market over the last 5 years probably are doing it for this reason more than they're doing it for any other reason. Obviously, customers would prefer to buy it this way. I think that that's probably one of the main reasons, but the next one is valuations. And so if you look at this chart, this is a list of publicly traded companies, and the ones on the left, SuccessFactors, Taleo, and Connexa, were kind of early pioneers in the SaaS market. All three of them were bought for a very high multiple. So SuccessFactors, Taleo, and Connexa. SuccessFactors bought by SAP, Taleo bought by Oracle, and Connexa bought by IBM. If you look at the next chart over, Concur was just acquired by SAP for $8.3 billion. What's interesting about their story is they were a crossover. They were one of the first companies who actually transitioned over to SaaS. And I would tell you, SuccessFactors, Taleo, and Connexa all transitioned over to SaaS as well. But you also see successful companies like NetSuite, Born in the Cloud, Cornerstone On Demand, Marketo, and Viva. What I would tell you is the companies on the far right-hand side, Marketo and Viva, both went public in the last year. Both of them didn't have very high revenues, but they have very high market caps. And even with the market fluctuating as it is, I mean, they're very, very valued companies. The other takeaway on this slide is that if you look at the bottom where it talks about the market capitalization, look at what the growth rates are. You can see a direct correlation between how fast the company is growing and how it scales and what the value of the company is. So if you think about, you know, a 3-year, year-over-year growth rate of 30 to 50%, just take a look at this chart and see who's most valuable. You look at somebody like Viva, who just went public. Over the last 3 years, they've been growing at a 50% year-over-year growth rate, and they're worth over $5 billion. So again, as you're thinking about building your business, it may be hard to do this all by yourself. You need partners like Cisco and Logicalis to help you. And one of the areas that we really help our clients with is kind of thinking through, what is that journey? You know, maybe I haven't even started yet. What do I need to be doing? And this chart is really just kind of an illustration of a lot of the things that we've experienced with our clients over the last 6 years. You know, some key things to keep in mind is, you know, always have a plan in place, develop a plan. We're big believers in, you know, if you don't have the expertise internally to do service delivery and host this, you should work with a partner. We're big believers in that, and I think you're going to learn a lot from Ryan's presentation about that. But this chart just basically gives you some more ideas. Again, at the end, Mark's going to highlight some resources that'll kind of go into more detail about this. And again, if you have questions, we'd be happy to talk to you about this as well. So let's go through real quick and just talk about a couple companies that we really like who we think are doing a really great job at the SaaS model. First one's LinkedIn. You know, a lot of people would say to us, is LinkedIn really a SaaS company? The reality is they've been extremely successful in building out a subscription business model. They've got over 200 million users today. I'm sure a lot of the people who are on this webinar today are users of LinkedIn. But things that they do that's really amazing, very fast growth rate, extremely flexible and scalable platform. They've actually rewrote their platform in real time, and we could talk about that offline, but that was very innovative. Very few people involved based on the size of the company, very scalable, highly automated, and they've been able to take their recruiting services and grow those in the last 3 years from basically zero to over 300 million in 3 years. So, you know, pretty amazing results. Workday is another one who we really like. We think that they've done a really great job of emerging from the PeopleSoft acquisition that Oracle did to building out a very innovative platform. They've been able to assemble a world-class ERP solution with a lot of breadth and depth very, very quickly. They have an amazing user interface and continue to grow at very, very fast rates. You know, they're somebody that we point our clients to a lot on a lot of different fronts. They're doing very innovative things. The one who's having their big user conference here in San Francisco this week is Salesforce. Again, they continue to do a lot of very innovative things, all the way from being, you know, rewriting their platform 3 times to launching their internal development environment and creating kind of the first platform as a service in the market, to, you know, all sorts of other efficiencies. They clearly were the pioneer in the market. The thing that we, you know, point out to clients in our research this last year, our SaaS 250 report just came out on Monday, and Salesforce was the #1 company when we looked at about 1,000 companies globally. They came out the highest in our rankings. And one of the things that's amazing is even at $3 billion a year, they're growing at, you know, 30% year over year, which is pretty tremendous. The last one is Dropbox. Dropbox, you may all be using Dropbox, but we really like the model. The story we always tell about Dropbox is when they raised their Series B a few years ago, they raised $250 million in B round funding, and they did that. They announced in the press release that the year before they had 4 million customers, 40 million in revenue, and 70 employees. And again, we look at a lot of companies, and we would give a company that was doing that who's probably 5 years old like an A+, because that's pretty good business results. The year that they got the money, they announced that they had gone from 4 million to 44 million customers. They had $250 million in revenue, and you know, that's pretty amazing when you think about they added 40 million customers, they added $210 million worth of revenue, and the thing that really stuck out to us is they went from 70 employees to 77 employees. So that's just kind of a testament to if you build the right platform, if you've got the right processes, you can build a very big, very fast-growing, extremely valuable company using the SaaS model. And so I just wanted to kind of wrap up with a couple ideas around, you know, what we see makes successful companies. We see strong CEOs who get a vision and really kind of champion it. These companies, day in and day out, are looking at efficiencies. We kind of call them grinders, but they're people who just are very focused on, you know, taking things and improving them if they're not right, testing a bunch of things, but keep going. The platform is their business. So again, you know, what Ryan's going to talk to you about building a platform and scaling it and the security and everything else, the platform really is what these SaaS companies are kind of betting their business on. Efficiency is critical. We talked a little bit about sales and marketing being important. We also tell all of our clients, you know, partners are critical. You can't do this by yourself. You need partners. And then, you know, innovation happens not just with the technology. It happens in the sales model, how you treat your customers, your pricing, you know. So we encourage our customers to really test a lot of different things in your model and really find areas of innovation. And then moving quickly, you know, being agile, that's another thing that we see. Most of these companies, even the big companies, are very good at kind of moving very quickly. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. The one thing I would point out is if you visit our website, we just did come out with our SaaS 250 research yesterday, and we'll be kind of promoting that over the next month or two. So please visit the website and learn more. Okay, Ryan, I think it's over to you now.
All right, so I'm Ryan McNeese. I'm the Solution Provider Practice Leader at Logicalis. Today I'm going to talk to you about our organization. I'll share a little bit about our company, and then I'm going to talk to you about how we work with ISVs to transform their solutions and ultimately their business. And I'd like to also share some success stories with you. So I'm going to try to do that through the words of our ISV partners, share some of the things that we've done for them and some of the things that they've said about us. So Logicalis is a global organization. We're a technology solutions and service provider. We've been in business for over 20 years. We've actually been providing managed services for over 15 years. And most of those 15 years we've been operating within the ITIL standards, ITIL framework. So we've got some serious legacy with ITIL. This makes us one of the most mature managed service organizations in the world that's our size. So we've been using ITIL since the early 2000s. That's mostly due to the fact that we're headquartered in the UK, and it's, you know, it started out as a UK-based standard. But now we've got incredibly rigorous and disciplined ITIL-based services and operations that a lot of our ISV partners rely on to make sure their end users get world-class services. So we have a full portfolio of cloud offerings and of managed services. All of our managed services are 24/7, 365. They all can be delivered globally. We've got some kind of innovative cloud offerings in terms of the mixture of cloud offerings that we have. We have our Logicalis Enterprise Cloud, which is really designed to run enterprise workloads. We also have the ability to carve out dedicated cloud environments for customers. We support a lot of hybrid cloud environments. We have an on-demand cloud. All of these environments can be linked together and used interchangeably. And then we also have a Power Cloud offering. So we look at each solution provider and we evaluate, their solution individually, and we can tailor solutions to those. We're about $1.5 billion in annual revenue. We've got about 3,500 experts in the field, and we have about 6,000 corporate customers, about 100 ISV customers or partners. About 70 of those 100 we look at as true partners, where we're really kind of an extension of their team, and we're helping them take a solution to market. So here's some of the things that we focus on with ISVs. We focus on consultative design, helping them build the right solution and get it to market quickly. We focus heavily on security and compliance, especially lately HIPAA, PCI, SOX compliance. We focus on delivering reliable performance and availability, and really that kind of leads into the SLA. We look at it like we're selling an SLA to our partners, and we can tweak that SLA to get the right service level in the market for the customer base that's being served. So we really focus on the ISV market as a whole, and we can help ISVs no matter where they're at in their journey. You've been hearing the term journey a lot today. A lot of ISVs, fall more on the traditional end of the spectrum, but they're trying to move along the spectrum to software as a service. We can help them get there, and we've got some really good expertise based on certain points in the spectrum. So we offer ISV transformation and solution lifecycle consulting. A lot of times our engagements start with that, and then that's how we figure out exactly what to build. We can help ISVs that are traditional software companies that are looking to get their first solution in the market. We can help them design that and build it, get it to market quickly, and then we can help them operate it with a really good service level. We can also work with ISVs that are a little bit further along in their journey. Maybe they've got a hosted offering in the market and they want to revise it. We work with a lot of those folks to look at their existing solution, evaluate all the elements of it, and kind of measure all the different elements. And then we can help them revise it and build a version 2.0 or 3.0 and take it to a whole nother level in terms of performance, customer satisfaction, scalability, service level, profitability, security. We've got 7 core measures that we focus on. Sometimes we could focus on all of those and significantly move the needle on all of them with the next version. And then other times we may focus on 1 or 2. Maybe profitability is really what needs to be focused on, or customer satisfaction. Depends on the solution. So if we look at these as offerings, we've got all of that consulting to help figure out what the strategy should be, where you're at, where you're trying to go. We also have all of our cloud offerings that we run the solutions on. Infrastructure is not a huge part of the solution, but it's a critical piece, and we do that very well. We also help ISVs with premise solutions for them and for their customers. In some cases, an ISV may be building their own cloud. We help a lot of larger software companies build out their own data centers and their own data center strategy. We can also build appliance models to deliver managed solutions to customers that may be on-premise. In some cases, there are technical reasons or business reasons why a customer base might want an as-a-service solution, but they might require a physical component to be on site. And then with our managed services expertise and our professional services and our service desk services, we look at those as being portable. So we can layer our services on top of anything. A lot of times they're integrated with our cloud offerings. We can layer them on top of a customer's data center if they already have a data center strategy. We can also help layer those on top of another cloud model if needed. So I run the solution provider practice. We also have a dedicated data center practice. So
Within that practice, we're focused on helping people with their data center strategy, helping them build data centers, consolidate data centers, modernize data centers, and maybe leverage cloud services as a hybrid solution integrated with their data centers. So it's a challenging marketplace today. It's rapidly changing, and it's changing from both a technology standpoint and from a customer demand standpoint. The new IT decision makers and the new purchasers, you know, the trend is that they're more focused on consumption models. So the trend is that people want more utility offering where they pay for what they use, they have elasticity. That's really what SaaS is. So we're seeing a lot more demand for SaaS and cloud models in the market. We're also seeing demand to drive costs down. You know, infrastructure and technology is getting a lot more efficient, and there are ways to really drive your spend down. It's also challenging to get to market quickly with these types of solutions. It's very competitive out there. There's new software companies popping up every day. You know, if you don't have a SaaS solution in the market, that can start taking, you know, competitors that do can start to move the market share needle away from you. And we can help get solutions to market quickly with existing code base, or, you know, we can help you as you try to transition your actual code base into a more scalable, you know, web scale model. So another major challenge I see in the market is, you know, software as a service. The key word there is service. You know, you really need world-class operations and services and a service provider mentality to satisfy your customers. A lot of software companies, their core competency is building software and marketing and selling it effectively. Operational excellence can take a long time, although, you know, managing infrastructure and some of those key pieces are not all that complicated. It takes a long time to mature the processes to deliver a world-class experience. So the answer to some of these challenges is often to partner with the right partner that understands, you know, the different elements of a solution, infrastructure, business model, the services, customer experience, along with the application. A partner like us can help you focus on your core competency, the application and marketing and selling it, and we can take care of some of the other solution elements. We've got our enterprise cloud solutions. We can pick from the different types of cloud offerings that we have to build the right solution. We have flexible and proven partner models to help you get to market with solutions in different ways. We have all types of services to help you grow annuity revenue. Things like user experience monitoring, our service desk to take on some of the customer support, disaster recovery services, and then all of our remote monitoring and management capabilities. We've got a deep and wide portfolio of managed services to manage all different types of operating systems, databases, devices. And then we have world-class professional services in architecture, workshops, and assessments to help ISVs figure out what their strategy should be, and once determined, you know, get there effectively. So what does it mean to leverage the cloud as a SaaS platform? It can mean access to new customers. It can mean new revenue streams and different revenue streams, more of a monthly recurring model instead of just an upfront model. It can help you get solutions to market faster, and it can help you speed up time to value for customers. So with a lot of the enterprise software companies that we work with, you know, customer buys the software, and sometimes implementation times can be 12 months or even greater. With a cloud model, we can speed up that time to value and sometimes get that down into, I mean, days in some cases. Using the cloud and using SaaS, it can increase your overall revenues. It can transition you into a service provider, and it can reduce your customers' CapEx and resource commitment. So some point things that it means for your customers, it reduces, you know, faster time to value, lower total cost of ownership, reduced IT infrastructure commitment. They get only what they need on demand. They don't have to plan for growth up front. And overall, it just greatly simplifies IT for them. So I'd like to talk about some of our customers and share some of the things that they've been saying about us. So we work with a lot of ERP vendors. IFS is one of them that we've been working with for some time. IFS is a Gartner's Magic Quadrant ERP provider that focuses on mostly mid-market and enterprise manufacturing. They've got kind of wide suite of ERP modules, and they're a global organization based in Europe. They've got significant business in North America, South America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. They were seeing demand from their customer base for a hosted model. We started off early on with them building out an appliance model to serve their customer demand. And then we helped them build a SaaS strategy to launch a software as a service offering. We got them to market extremely quickly with that. And some of the things that they've said about us over the years is, you know, they really relied on us as an enterprise management arm for their SaaS offering, not just infrastructure. You know, they weren't looking for an infrastructure provider. They were looking for, you know, a solution provider. They couldn't risk having any deficiencies in their offering. Their market is just too competitive. So we were able to deliver the level of support that their enterprise customers required and a really, really strong SLA. We also work with a lot of healthcare solutions providers. So I'm actually going to share two stories in the healthcare space. So API, they are a healthcare workforce management software company. They actually recently got bought by GE Healthcare. But we helped them launch the first version of their software as a service offering, and we've revised that solution and taken it to a whole nother level in terms of profitability and scale as they've matured. We've also helped them roll out a lot of new capabilities. They're starting to move into the analytics space, and we've helped them, you know, leverage technology to get there. So one thing that API consistently says about Logicalis is that we're a true partner for them. You know, they're a software company. They're trying to move into services. You know, they've needed some help along the way, and we've worked with them as their companies evolved. You know, there's certain, you know, there's kind of a learning curve that a traditional software company has to go through, and we can help speed that up, but we still have to work with them along the way, and we've really done that with API. They also didn't feel that they could move into a public cloud. You know, we evaluated some public cloud offerings with them right out of the gate, but due to performance and security and compliance and customer perception in the healthcare space, they couldn't even look at public cloud offerings. So we helped build them more of a virtual private model, and for some of their very large hospital systems that they serve, we build out dedicated clouds for them. You know, the customers get the same user experience. On the back end, though, we're making the right architecture decisions to meet their needs. So I know we're running low on time, so I'm going to blow through Healthcare DataWorks pretty quick, but Healthcare DataWorks is a healthcare analytics provider. They started out developing a framework for Ohio Health and have since emerged to be kind of a leader in their space. They were looking for one partner that could take care of all of the elements of the solution except for the software. You know, they really just wanted to focus on their core competency, which was, you know, building really good software and marketing it really effectively. And we've taken care of all of the infrastructure for them, all the managed services, and all of the delivery. And they've been an amazing partner to us, and they've been thrilled with our service. So I'd like to wrap up here. I think that we're a unique provider in the market because of our maturity in managed services, our global reach, and our experience in the ISV space. We've got many, many success stories we can share, and they all look very different. We've been able to build custom solutions for all different types of ISVs and get them to market very successfully. You know, to recap some points, you know, we've been providing managed services for over 15 years, been in business for over 20 years, you know, large global organization with very varied portfolio of services and capabilities. So I'd I'd love to talk to any of you in more detail. If you're an ISV that's trying to move along that spectrum, get closer to being a true SaaS provider, I think we can help you get there. I'm going to go ahead and hand it back to Mark Myers from Cisco.
Brian, thank you very much. That was excellent. And I'll tell you, really, between you and Kevin, what you guys just shared was absolutely terrific.
To learn more about Logicalis ISV solutions, or to see if you qualify for one of our free solution provider workshops, feel free to contact me directly. My contact information, both email and office line, is listed right here. Or check out our ISV website. Thank you so much and have a great day.